Hey guys, this is Ashton AB and welcome back to the King Cartoon Man channel, and today I'll be talking about the 2023 Christmas updates. So for this update, I will not be in front of the camera the whole time. Instead, it'll be about the behind the scenes work in progress of two of my major works, especially animated ones. I'll tell you about everything else in a bit. Right now I wanted to talk about a couple of things to expand my channel. The first thing I'm going to do, first and foremost, is the name of the channel itself. On my last update, when I was changing the banner for the first time, I decided to call my channel King Cartoon Man Fake Life Entertainment. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to put that name in on the platform that I built my channel from. So I decided to call it just King Cartoon Man Entertainment. You heard that right. There will be no more Fake Life Productions. There will be no more Good Human Productions. Just take all the other names that I used to release my films into one King Cartoon Man name. Oh, I'm serious right now. I know it's sad to hear for some, but let's be honest. King Cartoon Man is just a channel, not a real studio. Anyways, this also means I have to change the banner again, as well as the logo mark to accommodate the name change. The second thing I want to do to my channel is to release small 15 to 30 second sequences to future full-length cartoons. In the past 3 years, I usually put out a near dozen videos, which is usually 9, with a few exceptions so that they can be updated to get more views. That's actually less videos than the last 2.4 years of the 2010s combined. So I decided that for this year, my goal is to create at least 14 videos per month. The following year will be the first one that has more than 24 videos since 2019, where the first video release will be the first ever Walker's Coffee skit. Speaking of which, the next thing I want to talk about now is the creation of animated short skits. What is a skit? Well, a skit or a sketch is a piece of media for comedy that's usually shorter than the actual short film, usually running at 1 to 5 minutes. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to work on the first one that much, and the most that came out of it was the concept art for the skits, including character designs, the backgrounds, and the props. That's mainly because I wanted to pay attention to at least one project at a time. Though it wasn't to say that Chuck and Larson was the only production I spent time on. I did take some time to write some of the other Walker's Coffee skits, and I was also busy trying to put together a rotoscoped shot of Matt trying to get the snacks for the other Super Dudes, which will be the first ever animated shot for the musical number to the swimming race. What is a Super Dude, you may ask? Well, to be honest, I'd rather save the discussion when I talk about my new idea for a new show in the next video. Nothing personal. I just wanted to take some time to present some ideas. That way, I can present the vlogs that way, where I can just talk about the discussion of the idea, rather than just rush the ideas in a random way. Which is the next subject I am going to talk about right now, and that is presenting ideas in each video, rather than cramming them all together in one video. I remember that when I started doing my vlogs, I tend to present all the ideas randomly rather than give them some room to breathe and expand on each one of them in their own separate videos. I was trying to experiment with humor at the time, but unfortunately I ended up biting way more than I could chew. I was doing everything in one video and it failed, and that's where I learned my lesson at the time. Okay, so the next subject is the 150-day challenge of making an animated cartoon. The reason I say this is because I've always wanted to inspire other animators to create their own cartoons. I was able to make the first video of the cartoon making challenge and the results were actually good. However, when I started making the second video of the cartoon making challenge, it was more difficult than I expected. I have enough materials and resources to make this a finished product challenge. I actually wrote every piece of instruction of the cartoon making challenge. I got a large majority of the live action footage made, just so I would narrate what the next step would be about in the challenge. I was even planning on creating cartoon bridging sequences as a way to interact with the host. And yes, that's me. I was planning on being the host. They will also make sure to stand out from all the other challenge making videos. Okay, so now that we're done discussing the cartoon making challenge, the next thing I want to talk about now is writing more scripts traditionally. So it's no surprise that I used to write these scripts digitally, but it's not on my computer, but rather on my phone. I just decided to not do that kind of method anymore, at least for a while. Instead, I decided to choose to write on paper as a way to exercise my writing skills. And yes, 4 of the Walker's Coffee skits were the first to be written on paper instead of digital. I figured that the script would have more to write than just the lines the characters would say. In all of my early works back then, the scripts I would write were mostly require all the lines the characters would simply say, and that's pretty much it. I was able to create the backgrounds, but I was still a beginner when it came to script writing. Once I started writing for Chuck and Larson, I had to realize that I have to write the story itself and what the characters would do in that story after you think about what the story is going to be about. This was a major turning point for my writing skills because from now on, all scripts should be that way. Okay, so I got one last topic to talk about before I close the whole thing off, and that is the introduction to musical numbers, as well as the creation of animated music videos. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy watching contemporary movies, but the one type of movie that I enjoyed the most growing up is watching a musical. When I began Swimming Race, it was supposed to be a contemporary film, where it started out as an animated short back in 2019 and evolved into a longer project today. However, as I began creating numerous rewrites, it was during one rewrite that I decided that this should be a musical. The first ever full-length song that I've actually written for a cartoon is called Race to the Swimming Race. The premise of the song is real simple. The characters would drive all the way down on the open road, make a few stops on the way, and ultimately head to the beach where they're having the first ever swimming race made from various neighboring water parks. The title of the song itself is not going to be official because I'm going to be writing 2 different versions of the song. The first is a demo work print, and the second is the final cut, which is going to be featured in the actual cartoon. As for music videos, while the idea itself might have to wait, but I do have to release the songs themselves as sneak peeks when it's finally done in animation. Now, since Swimming Race is most likely going to be half-hour long, it'll just have to have 2 musical numbers. Once I'm done writing the songs, all I have to do is teach myself to sing in the correct pitch, as well as to teach myself how to play the music. I would have to learn how to play an instrument for Chuck and Larson. That way, I would properly teach myself how to create an original score for a cartoon. Well, that and the music itself would be created from scratch. Well, that's all I got for the 2023 Christmas updates. Alright, this is over to you. I want to know, what are your thoughts about the updates and what are your opinions about the ideas that I'm going to create? Did I miss something for one of my topics? Is there anything you do not like about some of the topics? Or do you just want to hear what's in store for the channel? Please don't forget to comment and subscribe to my channel, give it a like, and ring the bell icon for new stuff. Next time, I'm going to be releasing animated projects and only animated projects. I just figured that maybe that's what you think this channel is mainly about. And it is. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to have to get back to my animated works now. And we're going to find out what Walter thinks about Walker's Coffee. Until next time, and Merry Christmas!